Hulk strongest there is!
Welcome. Sparty's back. Today we're looking at the Hulk matchup with everybody. Generic advice on how to not get absolutely smashed to pieces by Hulk Smash. Hulk, in my mind, is one of the best ever designed fighting game characters. In terms of characters that translate into a fighting game, there's no one really in my mind better, because he's big, he's powerful, he's scary, he does exactly what he says on the tin. Basically, he represents in gameplay whatever you know about Hulk. He might be slow, but he's armoured and he's dangerous. And while he's a big target, he also covers a huge area with his attacks. So, in this video, we're going to be covering things like how to deal with corner pressure, how to play neutral versus him, how to not give up space. Quite a lot of advice in this one. It's going to be quite a long one, so follow through the timestamps if you want to skip to sections that might be more relevant to you. I'm going to cover first what his tools and normals and specials are. So first up, on the ground, he has his stand heavy then. So let's get into training mode and have a look at this. So stand heavy is a 15 frame normal, and this normal is absolutely huge. If you look at it, it's got huge horizontal range, and it's got this ability to hit above it. If you look at the height that it can hit at, but it also hits behind it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's also got this sort of like anti-cross-up nature to it. So it's able basically to catch approaches from the sky, coming in and trying to get behind him. It's able to catch all around him, but it's 15 frame startup, which is a long time. You know, characters like Wolverine have like a 4 frame stand light, 6 frame crouch light. Most characters something like a 5 frame normal. I mean, you could stick out 2 of those very quickly between the startup of a stand H, something like that. But it has armor on the 6th frame, so 6th frame armor means your button needs to be, if I just do a recording here into stand heavy, your button needs to be quick enough to get there before frame 6, or alternatively, if it's not, you need to have a follow-up like Wolverine's M to L, so you can hit him before the startup, the 15 frame startup catches you, because he has super armor, not hyper armor, which means he only gets 1 hit of armor. So 6 frames armor, it might be slow, but it is particularly effective because he's able to cancel it into gamma charges and able to bully his way through things by cancelling in specials like his gamma charge, which has its own armor. So he's nearly everywhere around him. It's an amazing neutral tool, but it also option selects throw at the same time. So if he's holding forward and heavy or back and heavy while smashing heavy, he's going to get either heavy if you're too far away from him to be thrown, or he'll throw you at point blank. So it's a really fantastic standoff button because you can just go to it and mash throw, and possibly mash Hagar as well. You can just mash it, and if you're not there to be thrown, you're going to be getting instant overheaded. Not instant overhead, you're going to be getting hit by Hagar as he comes there. It's great as an anti-air. It'll catch you trying to cross him up. It ground bounces into hard knockdown. So if you look at this here, it ground bounces into hard knockdown. There's tons of time there for him to convert into OTG. If he hits you with it, with say Hagar and something like that, say he's not going to use it like that, but say he does get a hit like that, he trades with you, maybe he can maybe get a conversion off that, or maybe just go into super after he's already traded with you. It's useful for combos, but that's the thing. The second norm I'm going to talk about is one which is rarely talked about, generally rarely seen from anything other than top level Hulk play, and it's stand M, which this button, it might look a bit funky. If I just play that recording back, it will whiff over Wolverine's head, and if I just play it back again over Dormammu, it whiffs over Dormammu's head. You can only really hit Hulk and Sentinel and some other big characters with this. However, this normal is 13 frame startup instead of H's 15 frame startup. 2 frames better, but the big deal is that it's twice as fast to hit armor. So armor starts with stand heavy on 6th frame. But with stand medium, it starts on the 3rd frame, which means if you're going to try and come in on him, he's going to be able to get a normal out. So if I'm going to try and get in on him, let's try and time a jump there. You see how fast that armor started? The medium's going to start as soon as Hulk lands, and he's already got armor on the 3rd frame. 3 frames is insanely quick startup for anything, really, but the armor starting up on the 3rd frame there means that this button is both fantastic for anti-airs, but also because of the armor speed, but also the fact that it can cancel into specials. So if I'm trying to attack him, he's going to get armor into more armor with his gamma charge, and he's just going to be layering it. So it's a fantastic button so that on reaction he can see something coming, hit that, and even if it's going to whiff over the top of a croucher, if he sees something coming and hits that and then cancels into gamma charge or whatever it might be, then he's going to be basically preventing your approach. He didn't hit me there, but the timing wasn't right on the cancel. So stand medium is a fantastic move. It's a really good one. It should be used by more Hulks. His light's not really much to speak of. Stand light, crouch light, both are 9-frame startup, but it's important that he has his crouch light, because once you're underneath drones and you're trying to jump out, the crouch light will catch you and make the drones all hit you. Also, if you do start realizing that that's the case, you have to respect the crouch light or you'll get hit by the drones when you're trying to up back. Well, in that case, it opens up the opportunity for him to command grab. So the crouch light, really important, but it's 9 frames, so it's not like something he's going to be dashing up with, you know, to hit you with the crouch light and things like that. He's much more likely to be using the stand heavy, the stand medium, those type, or just gamma crushing straight in. The next one is his forward medium. He's got his stand medium, but his forward medium, this move is a bit slower, 16 frames, and its super armor only starts on the 10th frame, so it's not that useful for actual sort of similar sort of applications as stand medium, but it does charge and it does force a wall bounce right there. So if you've got a situation where you're in like this and you say, right, okay, they're just blocking, you can do something like charge that punch and then cancel it into a command grab like that. So they get the fear of God in them when the Hulk smash is coming at them, and then they get command grab and scooped out of it, which is a nice little layer that Hulk can put into the game, but generally something that you'd only see out of, say, if they got a combo into something like a jump S, they might see something like that into drones, and then if you do the combo right or get the right space and you know continue the combo on that way. Next up is Jump L, which this normal, I mean, it's overlooked by probably a lot of Hulk players because they'd probably more rather do Jump H or Jump S because you get the big rewards from those buttons. However, if you're able to put, say, Wolverine into a a standing block stun, or any character in standing block stun. I mean, Wolverine's pretty small, but he gets hit instant overhead at a certain range anyway. I know this works at a certain range against Wolverine, I think. There you go. So you can still get hit instant overhead, and it's really good against a lot of characters to hit them instant overhead like that, and then you can probably either X Factor or convert it with a jump heavy into S. So that normal is fantastic for instant overhead, and it really comes up in big body matches because you can really easily instant overhead characters like Hulk, in the mirror match, or Sentinel, or especially if there's any sort of fuzzy going on. And Hulk is quite good at setting up fuzzies when he's got drones behind him. The next one is Jump Heavy. Now this one's a 16 frame start move. But you'll notice that if I super jump in a direction and then press it, it halts my forward momentum. It also sort of keeps me floating in the air for a little bit. If I mash it up there as fast as I can, he gets 3 of those. It's nice to have a hitbox there instead of just, say, falling very slowly and trying to come down with a button. It's a great move because even characters like down the lower end of the tier list, those characters will lack air mobility options, and Hulk got one right there. Hagar has things like his command grab in the air to stop halt his momentum. Hulk has this. It's a nice option. It's better than having no option, but also has a hitbox on it and lets him stall a little bit up there whilst clapping things out of the sky. It also, if you do hit a standing character, will stagger them for... How long is a stagger for? It's something like... 49 frames, something like 49 frames. I've got the information here. But basically, it's good for Hulk to make use of in neutral like that, but also very good for Hulk to make use of in the corner when he's got, say, Lariat assist. He can jump over a character and hit them with a mix-up like that with Jump Heavy because it halts the momentum. You can make it hit left, right, and then option select throw on the way up. It's a fantastic normal for him. And the last normal to speak of is a Jump S, which ground bounces and is the main tool for converting. Like that, you might convert into a full combo with Hulk. You're going to convert with his Jump S a lot more easily than a lot of his other normals. If you're going to jump over something, if you're going to jump over an assist, that Jump S is really good for then being able to convert into a full combo afterwards. Because again, the Jump Mediums, I'm not really going to mention them, but the Jump Mediums are okay, the Jump Heavy is, but getting that Jump Heavy to hit at further ranges, you're going to stop your momentum, whereas the Jump S is going to continue on and have a better chance of hitting any sort of outstretched button and clapping the character. So that's his normals. Moving on to his specials, he has his anti-air gamma charge, and I mentioned his anti-air gamma charge first because it's a 6 frame startup. Sorry, no, it's a 5-frame startup move with 6-frame armor. So 5-frame startup is great for Hulk because, as we mentioned, his fastest jab is technically it's his jump jab because it's 7 frames, but stand jabs are both 9 frames. He's got the 13-frame medium, and the stand heavy is 15 frames, and the S we don't talk about because it's super unsafe and you don't get anything from it other than launch on hit, yet no pressure. So the anti-gamma charge being 5-frame startup means that you can challenge that Wolverine Crouch Light, which is 6 frames, has no chance now against this move. You need to be using a 5-frame or a 4-frame normal with Wolverine in order to beat this, because it's that fast. So there's my 4-frame normal versus, if I do the Crouch Light, I went underneath it, low profile the thing, but it's fantastic because then he can challenge a lot of characters, especially if there's a little bit of space between him and them at the round start. He can also cancel his heavy straight into it for more layers on his armor at the round start as well. So this move is fantastic because of its startup, but also because if you're in the corner with against Hulk, it's a true block string, and you might have been bullied by this in the past. If you're watching this video, you may have been bullied by Hulk with this. It's a true block string to be hit by this. Now, at the time, it might be wrong because I'm not doing it against a real opponent here. But this here is a true block string. I can't do anything. If it's timed right, I can't actually move or get out at all. I can't do anything about it. So it's a true block string, which means it's a bully sequence, and we'll get to that slightly later and how to deal with that. So grounded gamma charge then. His gamma charge is a great tool for momentum. This is fantastic because he can dash, jump cancel his dash, and then cancel it into gamma charge and make a ton of horizontal momentum on his side there. So we can call drones and then get in there behind it, and look at the range on that. So if I go full screen with Wolverine, he's able with one dash into that, then follow up into a full screen there. So if I'm going to dash away from him, obviously I would have mashed the cancel maybe to make it happen on whiff, but it covers such horizontal range. Now it's a slower startup than the anti-air gamma charge one. This is only 9-frame startup as opposed to 5 frames, and the super armor is only on frame 9. However, as a neutral tool with armor that advances even just the first one, look at how fast it is. You're just getting hit straight away. That won't combo, but you're getting hit straight away because it's such a far moving move, and by the time it hits you there, so if I just do it here like that, by the time it hits you there, 9 frames have passed. So I'm already getting hit by the armor at that range. See that? It just beats it. So in the ranges you would probably want to push this, push the use of this. It is fantastic at already having armor in the place and beating out things. So if I'm calling an assist at that range, it's a happy birthday waiting to happen. And this is why a lot of people get bodied by Hulk, because they get hit by this move which just advances, and if they don't get hit by it, suddenly drones is behind it, and then the pressure comes, and then you're in the corner and command grabs are happening, you're getting hit by stand heavy because you're trying to throw him or escape or something like that. The main thing you see with this, you'll either see forward gamma charge as the follow-up, or you might see backwards gamma charge, going backwards to keep itself safe. I occasionally see Hulk players do a medium one like that, just to add an additional hit of armor and stay sort of in the sort of screen position that they want, but it's rare, and not many Hulks do it. So you might see them gamma charge forwards into the follow-up, which is forward as well. Now that is extremely unsafe, so you might see a lot of Hulks, typically either low-level Hulks or ones who like to gamble a bit, might think, right, well, this person's going to try and hit me as a punish, because this is very punishable. If I do that, that's extremely punishable. That is extremely punishable with pretty much anything you want. It's very negative. I'm not sure the exact frames, but you can always punish it. However, if I do that again and then cancel into super pretty late, in fact, on block, the sequence goes, whoops. If I try and punish that with a stand jab, oh, I actually did the sequence too late. Let's try and punish it with a stand heavy. Like that, you're going to get hit, basically. So this is the gamble. Hulk players will often run this early on in a set and make you scared to try and punish. And I'll get into how to deal with that in neutral slightly later as well, in how to deal with that. So you've got to be wary that that's something that they'll do, or alternatively they will back up like that. And if they do back up like that, that is the safer option of the two, but again, it's not quite safe anyway. If you've got a character with any sort of dash or any sort of button that can be pressed, oh shit, sorry, let's do it again. I keep pressing the recording button. There we go. If you've got any sort of like movement, not movement even, but anything that can cover that distance, a lot of characters will have something, especially if it's a higher tier character, you will have something you can punish that with. I just wouldn't recommend you punish it with a super, because Hulk on reaction, can just super back through. So you're in a situation now where you're doing DHC bluffs and sort of like fighting whose DHC is better, who can X Factor first or last, that type of thing. The next special that he has is Command Grab, and Hulk's Command Grab is... There's 3 different versions for it. There's a light, medium, and heavy version. The light and medium are both grounded ones. They will hit you on the ground. The medium version is slightly quicker. Sorry, slightly slower at 16 frames compared to Light's 11 frames. However, Light might be 11 frames start up, so it's faster to hit. However, it's got longer recovery. That... Oh, wait. Hang on a minute. Why can't I do a command grab right now? That, compared to that, basically, is the difference. It's kind of imperceptible to the eye there, but when it comes to punishing Hulk for it, it's a bit of a difference maker. However, I am told on good authority the M version is slightly harder to convert for Hulk, timing-wise. He then had his H anti-air, sorry, his H command grab, which is an anti-air version like that. And his H one, specifically, is one that he can combo off himself. So his light one throws you all the way over there, and I think you have to do drones into a gamma wave to convert that. Or you might have some other assist that can do it, but the anti-air one you can convert solo, I believe. Let me try it on, say, Dormammu. Like this. Can I get it? Yeah, like that. So you can convert it solo with Hulk off the anti-air command grab, which means if you're trying to not get command grab, the one to avoid is the anti-air one, just because of how much more combo ability he has, especially if you're aware that he doesn't have the assist needed to convert it, or he doesn't have X Factor to convert it. There's a good case for making sure that you don't get anti-air command grabbed versus crouch command grabbed, but then, you know, you're setting yourself up for just more pressure if you're going to sit there and wait for that crouching, sit there crouching, waiting for the ground command grab. It is something that's tricky to recognise that it's actually happened. So if I do a command grab here and then just mash throw and Lariat, H and Lariat, it's actually quite difficult. So if I just sort of like worry about it now, I think, oh shit, he's command grabbed, and then I'm getting hit. And a lot of players will not react quick enough and commit fast enough to punishing the command grab, specifically because it's quite fast, low recovery, kinda, but the fact that Hulk is so intimidating is the real issue there. So then we have his final special I'm going to mention, which is Gamma Wave. It's 2 hits for his light, 3 hits for his medium, 4 hits for his Gamma Wave, and it goes full screen. Now that Gamma Wave, each hit is 5 durability, so whilst Hulk isn't exactly Morrigan, if he's putting these out there, they're actually, if he's got frame advantage, they're actually quite difficult to beat if they're just coming at you in succession like that. Once he's set up like that, I just advise that you, generally speaking, just avoid and jump a couple of times to make sure he doesn't have the frame advantage of putting you in block stun from them. So if he is going to hit you with these, you're going to want to be careful about having any sort of assist on the screen, because this move hits both characters, and that is fantastic for Hulk because he can do something like that. And that didn't look very special, but once I actually call an assist here, if I try and call an assist in the middle of all this, like my Dormammu's getting beat up, I'm trying to get in with Wolverine, and he can now do something like that, and Dormammu keeps taking that damage. And if Hulk has X Factor and, say, Hyper Sentinel Force behind him, or Chaotic Flame, or $1 million or something like that to THC, he's going to be able to put the screws on Dormammu, or whatever your assist character is that's getting hit. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage to that character, so you need to be wary that he can keep hitting you. But the thing is, he's got quite a bit of recovery out of it, so if he's going to do it, you can get over there and punish quite regularly with a lot of characters. If you have any sort of forward movement, you're able to get over there and punish. And the moment you get to sort of the mid-screen range here, he has to respect that he can't do another one, because you're going to be able to beat him out from, say, if you just jump. So he's going to have to back off and leave your assist alone, so you're just trying to get to that mid-screen. Okay then, so let's get into some tactics then. Round start is where a lot of people instantly lose the Hulk matchup. The Hulk matchup is based on 2 things. Hulk wants to push you to the corner, and you do not want to freely give up space and lose to armor at the same time. So you've got to beat out armor, and you've got to not give up space and end up in the corner. And what happens at 99 is a lot of people will jump back like this to create the space, start, and the round starts, and you are here, and Hulk is right up in your ass here, and he does some shit like this, and then he's in your face. You've got drones coming and Lariats coming, and suddenly it's Hulk's fist in ass. It gets very scary very, very quickly. So what you've got to do at the start is not give up your screen space freely. It's really important that you do not, because Hulk's effectiveness is based on spacing. If you're at this sort of space, you are okay and able to call your assists and move into the mid-range and fight Hulk there. But if you're in the corner, there's no space for you to back up to obtain that space. If you're here, you can't then call your assist and move forwards, because what will happen is Gamma Charge going to Gamma Charge and you're going to lose 2 characters for it. So you need to be wary not to give up that space. And what a lot of people advocate, in fact, I'll go into what people advocate in terms of anti-Hulk tactics, but what a lot of Hulks will do is round start, come over, round starts, and they'll just mash heavy and they'll be calling their assist like that. And if you're trying to combat that, you're either going to get thrown, or alternatively, if you don't get thrown, you're going to get hit by stand heavy and their assist's going to hit you. Maybe you'll get happy birthday because you've called your assist as well. So Hulk can cancel that into gamma charges like that, and he can convert with X Factor, with supers, and make your life a living hell. And just basically kill your character off nearly every hit. So he can cancel into a lot of things and also call his assists. And from here, what you could do, you could also try and fight this. Maybe you're going to try and fight the stand heavy and option select something like a plink dash back. And maybe that's the right call. Maybe you'll get away sometimes and make that little bit of space. Maybe you get chased by a gamma charge and end up blocking the sentinel drones. But Hulk's armor and his assists are dangerous to tangle with. So whatever you're doing, would it be a plink dash backwards to option select throw, maybe to beat anything that he starts with. It's tricky to deal with, but yeah, basically he's going to do that stand heavy and mash. The other thing he might do is maybe create a little bit of space by backing off or jumping over you and then doing his anti-air gamma charge like that. And if he does do that, it's going to beat anything of yours which is 5 frames, or well, it's not going to beat 5 frame norm, it's going to trade with them, but it's going to beat anything that's 6 frames or slower. So if you try and do stand light, medium, heavy, you try and do stand light, medium, heavy, and you press your light too early before round start, medium's going to come out. You just got to be wary that your normal sometimes were not going to be capable of beating an anti-air gamma charge when they could beat a stand heavy. So you just got to be aware of that. He also may just straight up jump grab like that into an assist and beat you up that way. So if you're in the air like that, you might just get snagged out the air straight into an assist and touch death. Hulk might snap you as well on round start. His snap is an option. It's rarely used, but 2 frames occasionally. If he just has a character he wants to get rid of on your team, maybe he'll use it, but it's not really to the benefit of Hulk to be using his meter that way, because he uses it for touch of death combos and making sure that he can DHC Hulk out safely when the time comes if he's lost in zoning. So, what do we do then against these Hulk options then? If we got the round start then, we do round start, throw, and some assists here, something like that. If you take the throw, and this is something a lot of people advocate, you can just tech roll out, and now you're safe. But what about if Hulk does the throw, and then predicts that you're going to tech in a certain direction, like this? Suddenly you're in drones, and he's taunting at you. You're in drones, and he's going to be able to pressure to a greater degree. So Hulks can chase your tech if you get thrown. Now, as a beginner, this is an option specifically because you're able to get out of this round start situation and make some space, hopefully. Maybe you'll tech the way that Hulk doesn't predict. It's a good option. It's not one that I particularly prescribe to, specifically because I like to fight Hulk at round start. I'm quite confident with Wolverine or Magneto in fighting Hulk at round start because I have some options which will beat out some of Hulk options. So Hulk's going to do his stand heavy, and what could I do to defeat that? So if Hulk's going to do his stand heavy like this, that is a throw, and he's just going to be getting a stand heavy if he doesn't hit me. So if I try and jump at the same time as him, what I like to do is basically jump over Hulk at round start right at the last second and then plink dash away upon landing. And what this does is 2 things. So if Hulk's about to do a stand heavy, can I jump at the same? I don't want to jump at the same. I want to jump slightly after him, don't I? Basically, he did a stand heavy then, and I threw it start up. So what's happening is Hulk will do his stand heavy, 15 frame start up. If I'm next to it, then I'm going to get thrown. But if I'm not next to it, if I'm airborne whilst his stand heavy starts, the throw hitbox is only like there for 1 frame. So if I land right as the throw starts, or anywhere between the 1st frame and the 15th frame, it's quite relaxed timing, and then I do a plink dash away like that there, I will throw Hulk out of the startup of his stand heavy. But also, at the same time, I'm protecting myself from the option of him doing a jump heavy as well, because at that round start, I'm not going to be there to be grabbed like that, basically. How the hell did I time that? So he's going to jump above me, and when he does that, I'm going to be able to anti-air him, throw him, basically meet him to and punish him for that move. Now, that means that suddenly his ground throw is in question. He doesn't know if he's safe to use it. He might have to think about just trying to pressure with assists and armor and then safely get Hulk into a position where he can pressure from neutral. Or alternatively, maybe think about trying to go for more jump grabs, which will get him punished. And at that point, if he can't ground grab or jump grab, maybe he's going to be thinking of more basic options like the anti-air gamma charge and just trying not to get himself caught at round start, because if you're suddenly throwing Hulk at round start, Hulk players are going to be like, what the fuck? So Hulk players having to think is a great thing, because Hulk players typically have a very linear game plan, and it's very easy to just plow through characters, and making them think and doubt their options is the very name of the game. It's a superb thing to do. So first things first then, whilst that is an option, we can also try to say jump over him and then hit him with some moves that are faster than his stand heavy. 4 frames, 5 frame jabs. Check what your character has. What is your character's best move that's 4 or 5 frames, basically? Morrigan has her DP, for example. Her DP can be TK'd so that it actually starts during her pre-jump frame. She can tech throws during it, and it comes out in 3 frames and is multi-hitting. So she can just do a DP at round start versus Hulk. And he's kind of got to hold it unless he avoids it and then punishes it. Different characters have different options. Like I say, Wolverine has the 4 frame stand jab. Some characters have multi-hitting moves. Some just back up and call an assist and put some multi-hitting moves, like Deadpool, for example, might put some guns out there, jump, and then do some guns right as he lands before round start, so on and so forth. So for that then, just remember that challenging Hulk is about understanding how throws work. I think really it's the main facet to beating him at round start, because if you are able to say time your jump over, it's something to practice, and if you're able to beat some of his anti-air gamma charges like that, then suddenly that was badly timed on the start there. Should be airborne by the time. There you go, there's airborne, there we go. So if you're able to beat some of the anti-air gamma charges and beat the stand heavies, beat the assists, you do have to worry about the assist as well. This is the thing though, once you start doing that, he has to start thinking about things, and that's when other options open up to you. For example, Wolverine, sometimes at round start, I'll be waiting for that sort of like stand heavy or something like that, and I'll do jump light S and hit Hulk instant overhead, but I'll also at the same time with that normal trade with his anti-air gamma charge, basically trade with it like that, and then the round gets basically started with us resetting and maybe his assists getting called kind of without any sort of potency right there. So that's round start, I think. Challenge Hulk, do not give up space is my rule, basically. If you give up space, again, you are losing. So this is where giving up space really matters then. Neutral game is the next section. So in general, Hulk is an aggressive character, but he's also highly unsafe on his counter options. So his approach to neutral isn't as aggressive as you might think. You might think Hulk's just like, oh, Hulk smash, and then just like loads of shit like that, but it's not as aggressive as you think, because if I try and advance, Hulk can be stopped during his advance. I can call assists and stop Hulk like that, and if I just back up a little bit, let me just get some plinks out there. If I just back up a little bit, Hulk's there and drones aren't. Like, he's punishable. So what you might see is this sort of like ebb and flow, this tidal sort of movement of it's Hulk's turn, it's my turn, it's Hulk's turn, it's my turn. And I'll show you this in a couple of matches slightly later, because when Hulk whiffs stuff like that, if he's trying to get in, I'm now completely under drones. Drones aren't making me be afraid at all, unless he's got like a horizontal assist like Rocket Raccoon's Spitfire twice assist. It's actually really good for Hulk. There's nothing for me to fear by backing up and making space, basically. There's nothing for me to fear as long as I'm aware that the drones are there. I can do anything I want out of that. I can snap, I can launch, I can call my assist to make sure that the drones get nullified by Dark Hole, for example. And I'm using Wolverine as my example here. But that's the gist. Also, sorry, I did actually just forget there. For round start, just nipping back to that just for a second there, character-specific stuff you should test out as well. Magneto can do stand heavy into his counter L, and that will counter any physical moves that Hulk does, like stand heavy or calling Lariat. MODOK can just fly away. If you have double jumps, that's fantastic. And I mentioned Morrigan's DP fly, didn't I? Sorry, just to go back to that, it was bugging me that I've forgotten to mention it. So, basically, it turns the game into turns based around his assist calls, allowing to him advance in. So your neutral wants to be based around seeing when Hulk doesn't have his neutral assists to gain space back. It's based around you not losing space when he calls his assists, and about you gaining as much space back, moving Hulk away from you, basically to push Hulk that way, away from your corner, in order to gain that neutral space back. Because again, Hulk is a wet towel in neutral if he doesn't control the space, if he doesn't push you to the corner. So just be conscious of what risks you're taking, because if you're in that mid-screen space and you try and call your assist all of a sudden, both could get bodied really quick. So just make sure that you're practicing plink dashing, practicing your character's movement, so that you can get away from Hulk and not cock up your plink dashes like that, and just get away from Hulk and make that space. Because if you try and do something like, if I'm Dormammu, I'm trying to plant a flame carpet at bad spacing, then Hulk can very easily bust through it, for example. So you got to understand what works and what doesn't. But my main neutral advice is to manage the spacing and basically claim as much of it as you can and not give up as much as possible. The second tip is to go to character select and pick Doctor Doom, which I'm going to do now. My second tip is pick Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom is just fantastic at stopping any attack from Hulk and basically nullifying all of his assists at the same time. I say Doctor Doom, but it could be any beam with piercing properties. As long as it can go through Hulk, stop Sentinel, and potentially contend with Sentinel's durability on his drones, which I think are 3 each or 4 each on his. I think it's 4 each, isn't it? 12 total for the drones, if I recall correctly. Can't remember off the top of my head. But you want to contend with that durability, and Hulk being the intimidating character that he is, he might be trying to just get through over to your characters with something like that. Maybe you do the second one, and if I try and just disrupt her through, it might work depending on the spacing, but I might get hit. But if I've got plasma behind me, I'm basically damaging everything. It also, just on its own, you see it stopped plasma, it stopped Hulk, sorry, it stopped plasma, it stopped drones, and it stopped Hulk all in one go there. It's a fantastic counter-call assist against Hulk, but what it also does is stop Hulk approaches. Like, look at Hulk try to. I'm going to try and get him to hit Magneto over here, and the chances are actually kind of slim for him over here, because that was a perfect one there. But if I try and get over Plasma Beam from a lot of ranges, I'm just going to get hit on the way up, depending on the timing. I'm going to get hit on the way down with my jump S, which I'm trying to get in with. And if I try hitting with jump L, it's the same story, like that. Not enough hits done, I don't think, if I came down with that, unless you can do 2 Ls. You can do 2 Ls. But you saw I got hit by Plasma. Plasma and Unibeam and Modoc's Beam. Modoc's Beam's actually really good. Modoc's Beam and maybe Bolts, but Bolts is a funny one because Bolts is not going to stop Hulk's armor, so you're going to have Bolts and then, say, a Disruptor or something else that's going to hit them. Anything that Hulk does to approach, he has to be really wary of Plasma Beam. So when your Plasma Beam comes out, you can basically call it and go and get in. Like look at the amount of space I can cover just by calling my Plasma Beam assist. Like, it's insane. It's really stupid. So against Hulk, pick a beam, because it's one of those things. He's the type of character where the matchup dictates that you kind of need to either learn really specific anti-Hulk tech and anti-Hulk team tech, or alternatively pick beams and pick other characters who will help you defeat Hulk. Characters like Zero, characters like Magneto and Doctor Doom, and basically characters that fight the team really well, Hawkeye, things like that. So that's really good, basically. So you can also think about, if you're not going to pick that assist, you can also pick things like, let me just get one more recording of that, like that, that'll do. You can also pick assists that will combat Hulk in neutral and stop drones at the same time. So Dark Hole's assist that I have there, which I can use to basically soak up durability. Soak up durability and also stop Hulk's armor at the same time. There's lots of uses for things like Eye of Agamotto, for assists that will basically have any sort of ability to soak up durability whilst hitting Hulk. That's the gist. The second part of neutral is fighting drones then. Fighting drones is a superb way to fight this matchup. Those drones, if they are called, I need to be punishing them. That was a terrible way to do it. So you need to be punishing them. You need to be hitting drones and punishing them. If you've got Plasma Beam and Magneto, for example, I've just done a third of Sentinel's life in one go. And you just need to be hitting him. And the thing is, it's not all about hitting him. Hulk might do something as daft as, like if I'm, say, up here, it might be something as daft as charging away from, like, away from his sentinel. Oh, I guess the autocorrect, nice. And leaving his sentinel vulnerable over there. Which means that he's punishable, basically. In a sense like that. And I think a lot of characters, depending on your character and who they are, it's actually a lot of characters will have this. If I can demonstrate. Oh my god, Hulk, stop gamma charging. Let me just demonstrate a bit more simply than this. I'm just going to walk forward with Hulk and call this. A lot of times I find myself hitting Sentinel behind Hulk. And this allows me then to stop the drones, but also you can hit Sentinel when he's behind you. You can hit him when he's really far behind you with a lot of characters. So I just did jab with Sentinel behind me into S, and it hits Sentinel. And this applies to a lot of characters with their moves. Don't think Dormammu's too good at it, if I remember correctly. Like, not if I get hit anyway. Let me just try that one more time. Like that. Stop getting hit. I know Doom's fine for this as well. I just need to stop getting hit. Let's just do super jump. Heavy. That's actually pitiful. I can't even punish Sentinel when it's training mode. We'll get it this time. I just got behind him, but you get the gist anyway. So Doom can do it. He can hit him with S. He can actually also hit him with his jab as well. Like, his jab will do the trick too. When Sentinel is behind him. But that's the gist. So you've got to be able to think, can I touch Sentinel? Because if you touch Sentinel, if drones are coming, they disappear the moment he is touched, regardless of where they are on the screen, how far they've come out. If you touch Sentinel, basically, like that, the drones stop. Even if you have no durability, if you touch Sentinel, and that might be as simple as dashing in and doing an instant overhead jump light to get over the drones and touch Sentinel, you're basically fighting drones. So you need piercing assists to help. If you're in any position to challenge Hulk, so if Hulk's sort of like there and you're challenging him and you beat out his normals, you just need to touch Sentinel. So you just need to touch him. So maybe if you're doing like some crouch light, stand lights, do a bigger normal that's far enough to reach Sentinel to stop those drones coming out. Also, if the drones are coming and you realise that they're coming and you're hitting Hulk, you can launch or you can snap Hulk, basically. You can still get hit by drones, but if you snap in Sentinel, you're safe completely from ever being punished for it, and you're still able to actually mix up Sentinel a little bit as he comes in, unless you're going to get hit by hard drive, but you've got to be wary of hard drive anyway. So going over Hulk and getting to drones is a really fantastic idea. But generally speaking, you just need to tap him. The Sentinel hitbox is very fat, isn't it? So avoiding drones, launch Hulk, or alternatively, if Hulk is going to make a gamma charge approach like this, and you've got good spacing, you might think, I'm just going to low profile. It depends on your character, of course, but like if the gamma charge recording would work nicely for me, that'll do it, I think, because I've mashed it. There we go. So if I back up quite a long way here, I can low profile that. I still get hit when I did the medium, but a lot of characters can low profile, depending on your character. Low profile on the drones is really good. So drones, there's more ways to deal with it. I'll mention some bits slightly later. There's awareness of Lariat then as well. You just got to be aware that anything that you do is going to be having to deal with Lariat at the same time. So if you're ever going to pressure Hulk, you got to be aware of the fact that he could always be calling Lariat behind him, which mid-screen, you should make the distinction here. Mid-screen is something which is not actually as bad as it is in the corner. So look at Lariat right there. It comes out on top of Hulk. So if I go in whilst Lariat's there, I can hit it quite easily from that position. But in the corner, if I call it, look where Lariat is relative to Hulk now. Lariat comes out well in advance. So if I'm going in to pressure Hulk now, depending on my character's height, I might just get bopped before I even reach Hulk, or I might get bopped if I'm trying to go in and he's blocking. In fact, let me just block with Hulk. That's probably the better way to do this. Call Lariat. If I'm blocking with Hulk during that whole thing there, and he calls Lariat, you might beat it if you're going to low profile, but if I go sort of like I just can't lose to Lariat, but you lose to Lariat a lot of the time because your character's crouching series might end up getting hit by Hagar, so you need to be aware of what normals you have that will go under Lariat while still being able to put Hulk into pressure. You also need to be aware that if you're in the corner pressuring Hulk and you're not being push blocked out of there, it might be because the guy's sat there mashing Lariat and waiting for you to get hit when you leave a block stun. When you leave a gap in your block pressure. Your block string. So maintaining the pressure with maybe low profile and stuff, and making sure that you aren't going to get hit by Lariat when it comes out, that's really important. You might actually leave intentional gaps in your pressure as well to encourage them to get the call there, and then you might punish with something that beats both Hulk and Lariat from a distance, being able to convert both of them into a happy birthday combo, or at least just damage Hagar and then get the ability to pressure Hulk after it as well. So you might do something like that and then have the ability to go in after it, something like that, and be able to pressure. Maintaining the pressure then, you just got to be aware of that. Ultimately, being aware of assist cooldowns is key here, because if you realise it's time for Hulk to back up, then that's the key, basically. If he's called his drones, if his drones are out and he's had to back off now, he has no drones call left. So he might have to back off like that, and you know that he's nothing yet. You can call your plasma knowing it's going to beat his assist. Your next assist call is going to beat his because he's nothing left. So you can just follow in and regain that space because you know that his drones can't beat your full screen plasma call or whatever full screen assist you have. Depending on what your characters are, it's going to make a difference, but you have to be aware that it's your turn to go in. The thing is, though, what might happen here is people tend to forget that Hulk has a lot of life. So when you're fighting Lariat, you're going to be doing your sick combo and you're going to be doing really well, and Hulk's going to be there getting hit. And the problem is that you think, right, shit, no, he's got a lot of life, doesn't he? I know, I'll reset him. I'll reset the guy. Let me just do a cool combo and then I'll do a reset. Yeah? So you do your cool combo, the hit stun's racking up, and you think, I'll just do a sick hit stun, a sick mix-up. I'll do a sick reset, and then Lariat comes as you reset them. If you TAC reset them, for example, I'll just do a quick combo into the TAC reset here. Something like this. I'll do a quick one, if standard one, where you end up down like that. The recording didn't do the Lariat. You can actually get hit by Lariat in situations where you're up at super jump height and you might have a conversion to get back down again with Hulk after you've done like a TAC reset, and it might just get you killed because Lariat's waiting for you at the bottom there because he's mashing it. Even if you hit Hulk, you can still get hit by Lariat, especially if you're trying to reset with something like a standard, like, say, jab reset into throw, like that, because the Lariat's going to come out and you're just going to get clapped straight away, unless you immediately throw them, but he might just tech the throw. It might be mashing Lariat and tech at the same time. So unless your throw setup's really good and you're going to throw their attempt to throw, you might get hit by Lariat. So you've got to be really careful. Your setups and your resets have to be safe from Lariat then. So armor is the big deal in neutral. So super armor is dangerous. It has one hit of armor. It's one of those things where you just have to be aware that it's only one hit. So if you're going to challenge it with or without assist, then ideas that you should be practicing in training mode include using fast attacks. So using fast attacks that can get there before his armor starts. So getting there with moves that are going to beat him before he reaches you with his armor, or up close if you've got faster attacks, fast jabs with whatever character be, getting those in there. If you have multi-hitting attacks like Disruptor is 2 hits or Disruptor is 3 hits with the heavy Disruptor, if you have fast attacks, then that's going to be superb as well. As long as it's multi-hitting fast attacks, that's really good. You can also hit Hulk with throws. So if I'm going to do stand heavy, I'll do jump into heavy just to set the recording and mash it there. Or I can beat it. If I just get hit by the armor, or just touch the armor, oh my god, just do it. There we go. So if I touch him in his armor, I can actually throw him quite well. Armor doesn't really give a shit about throw. So if I know he's about to do that, I can run up and throw and maybe tech his throw. If I know he's about to come out of assist. So this is a thing. So say he's blocked this assist. Let's just say he blocks that assist. Like that. I know that right after that I can throw, and I'm relatively safe because he can't armor through a throw. But also, at the same time, I can option select throw into some of my series. So if I've got a character who has a good good stand heavy, Magneto doesn't have the best stand heavy for this. But if I know that, like Iron Fist, for example, one of my characters, I can dash in and I can do any normal into a forward heavy or a back heavy and hit him during the armor, and then just go into the one frame grab. The next button will grab him out of his armor, because armor's grabbable and capturable. You can hit it with things like Spencer's grapple attack. Things like that will catch him out of his armor, and if he's doing his button there like that, I can throw him straight out of it. So that's an option as well. So normal's cancelled into forward or back heavy. Command grabs and also capture state moves, so I can grab him out of armor with a capture state move like that. Can't beat it, basically. You've got to be aware of Hulk's size as well. So Hulk's size is a big thing. So he's big, so sometimes it means that combos land more easily, but there are things you need to remember. So you can instant overhead Hulk with a lot of characters, so always remember that you have this option to instant overhead him, depending on your character. Magneto doesn't have it. I'm pretty sure Hulk get it with certain things. You can fuzzy him easily enough and then hit him with jump medium overhead. But depending on your character, like, you can hit him with, and the space and you can hit him with certain normals on the way up. Just unfortunately these characters don't have that, but Wolverine can do it. Firebrand can definitely do that to everybody. Iron Fist can hit him with jump heavy into S, and so on and so forth. Check your characters, can they instant overhead Hulk? Because if you can instant overhead Hulk, it means if you follow in your plasma, they now have to worry about you instant overheading them, hitting them low, or throwing them. And if you've got a conversion from all three of those, the hardest one being instant overheads to convert, generally speaking, then they're going to have to worry every time you call your screen assist and dash over, because now they're worried they can't just mash armor, because you might hit them instant overhead or hit them low whilst they're trying to mash their armor. If they don't want to mash, you can throw them, and if they try and block low, you'll hit them high. If they try and block high, you'll hit them low, and suddenly the Hulk player is like, whoa, I'm in dizzy, bruh, I'm stunned. Hulk players suddenly worrying about you coming in instead of the other way around. Hulk players, generally speaking, depending on the level, just want to smash, basically. Don't we all? So you've got to think about this. Can you do it solo? Do you need an assist to instant overhead, or can you do it solo? So on and so forth. Hulk is a little different to TAC on. So if you're going to TAC combo, you have to be aware that things like Doom's Infinite you can't do on the middle of Hulk's body, because he's so fat that doesn't work. The plasma beam doesn't hit right. You have to sort of do your M&Ms on his knees like that there. Obviously that wasn't in a TAC state, but you have to do it on his knees, so be aware that a lot of your infinites, a lot of your characters B&Bs might actually change a bit because it's Hulk. That's just basic stuff. But also be aware that if it's a character like Hulk and Dante or Hulk and Rocket Raccoon, Hulk's a big character, so if you're comboing Hulk, in that combo Rocket Raccoon's a lot smaller, so it's very easy for you to launch an even medium heavy S. You've got to be really aware of where the smaller character is. And if you're something like Wolverine, for example, you got Hulk, he's quite a wide Hurtbox when he's lying on the ground, and Rocket Raccoon is tiny, so sometimes you'll do like Wolverine slide, hit Hulk, and it won't reach Rocket Raccoon because I've spaced it right for Hulk but not for Rocket Raccoon. But you'll also get situations where you'll do, if I just call Lariat, for example, there, I'll do a move like Crouch Heavy, and I'll cancel it before it reaches the Lariat. So I'm due to get a Happy Birthday if I leave it long enough to hit both characters. But you've got to be aware that characters can fall out. So that's the thing, basically. It's one of those ideas of just optimizing everything versus Hulk. The more drops you make, the more chances Hulk has, the easier it is for him to convert into two kills after they've killed your first point character, and the game's over by that point. So, spacing ideas then. Spacing ideas are important here, so don't just blindly run away from Hulk. I mentioned before, it's his ebb and flow, isn't it? So, when Hulk puts an assist like drones on the screen, it's a chance for you to back up and nullify those drones by making them useless. Even if you go above them, they're useless over there to you. They don't do anything to you. Basically, you're looking to retreat when his neutral assist is out, and you're looking to make him retreat when yours is out. You're just looking to keep that space. It's a reiteration of what I said before, but basically don't let yourself get trapped in a position where drones is in an awkward spot above your head where you're now basically going to take a mix-up from Hulk after it. You've got to be able to learn to plink dash. I really recommend it if you can't. Learn to do it. if you're basically unable to plink because your character doesn't have a plink or they don't have a good plink, learn to wave dash back really fast, or even wink dash, which is plinking backwards with a crouch input. Just learn to escape the situation as fast as possible. And what this does is it makes Hulk punishable, because Hulk's moves are really punishable on whiff, basically. You basically have to punish all of these, and this is my next part, like punishing the bad ground gamma charges. Like, that's so punishable on whiff, even if it does it into the follow-up there, like that. It's so punishable. Why can't I get it to do it on whiff? Let me just mash that follow-up. There we go. That should do it. There we go. It's so punishable on whiff. Incredibly. Even if he does the back version like that, it's really punishable on whiff. It's really far and away, like super punishable. Or even if you don't get a punish, you can just make it pressured. Like, the pressure's there and you're safe to advance because you know, like, your assist is going to follow up behind it. So basically, if you're going to block something, make sure you've got a punish ready for it. So on a blocked version of that, do not let him get away with that. What you're looking to make Hulks do is see that you're ready to punish, and then he'll have to cancel into Gamma Wave Super to be safe, or he can gamble into his Gamma Crush Super instead. Like, if I try and punish with like a crouch medium there, a crouch light there, I tried to mash crouch jab there to beat the Gamma Charge, and you're going to lose for that. Now, what you could also do is try and throw it, because throws are faster, but throws might not ever touch him because he's fully invulnerable through all of that startup there. So your heavy might come out during his super there, so it might come out, and you'll see it now on this recording, I think. So I try and like throw that, it might come out like that. So as with a lot of things that I recommend in this game, learn to plink dash backwards. If you do one plink like that, you can throw Hulk and then cancel it into a crouch and be completely safe from anything he's going to do. If I set up the trap again, I think that might be right. It might not be good. And I do a plink dash back. I've throw punished him there, but if I tried to do like a... Nope, I didn't block it. I don't think the timing's right on the trap, but if I was going to do a throw, you might see the startup of the throw get hit like that. But if I do a plink dash backwards, it would look more like that. You'd see Magneto dashing, and I can just be safe or punish, whatever I want to do for that. If that super's coming out, by the way, if this super's coming out, it's often a good idea to see it, and if you've got good plinks, plink dash to the side. It just makes it makes you punish that much easier to get. So, it's about awareness of punishing these things. So, you've got to punish whiffed gamma charges on the way in. So, whiffed L1s, the L follow-up, punish those. Make sure you get in those, because the second it whiffs, and the same with anti-air gamma charges, the second it whiffs, it's so punishable. It's so punishable in whiff, and the spacing can be just a millimetre off. Look, that hits, but if I move a tiny bit back, a bit further than that, it whiffs, and I'm ready to punish. Like, this is one of those things, if I block it, I should be trying to punish it anyway. I should be pressing buttons during block stun, because if it whiffs, my buttons come out, and if it doesn't whiff, I don't get hit, because I'm blocking already. Do you see what I mean? So if I'm going to block it, I might as well have pressed the button in case it whiffed with the timing to punish it. So punish those on whiff. But also, in neutral there, you just got to be aware that your spacing is also helped by your assist calls, so make sure that your assists are able to get in there. If your point doesn't have projectiles, your job is a lot harder, basically. You have to take risks with your point character. So my point is Wolverine, and I play with Iron Fist, and one of my training partners is a KBR playing Hulk player called Shuffle. And I have to fight that with my only projectile being Dark Hole, but sometimes Dark Hole's on cooldown and I want to maybe press an advantage, or I want to challenge his ability to call an assist. And what you got to do, if you've only got, say, a move that's a physical assist, that's a one-hitting one like Rising Fang is, and I've got Wolverine, you just have to meet Hulk at the exact same time as your assist is about to hit. So if Plasma was only a one, in fact no, I've got a one hitting assist, it's Magneto's with his Disruptor there, one hit. You just got to meet their character at the same time with another button. Like, you got to hit them at the same time, and armor will be nullified, basically. You might trade in some way, but you're going to trade in a way that leaves you safe generally, especially if your assist is a good one. Most one-hitting assists are usually going to provide some sort of hit, which keeps them in hit stun for quite a little while. If you don't have any projectiles at all, so say, in fact, actually, sorry, that was the assist. That was the advice. If you don't have any projectiles at all, just meet them at the same time. If you don't have any projectiles at all, basically learn a projectile character with a good assist. like Plasma, like Unibeam, like Modoc's Unibeam. No, not Unibeam. What's Modoc's assist called? Can't remember at this present time. So if you've got an assist that you can pick on a character that you can play, learn it to fight the whole matchup. But if your point doesn't have projectiles, so if you can't run projectiles plus your projectile assist, your job is harder. You need to take more risks with your point character and just rely on your assists a lot more, basically. Multi-hitting normals are normal again, so Magneto doesn't have multi-hitting normals, but he can put out a couple of quick normals together, as long as you're backed up by your assists, basically. So you just got to be aware of that. And the final thing here is, if Hulk jumps, if you see Hulk jump, he is vulnerable. Hulk has no armor in the air, so if you see Hulk jump, he is vulnerable. There is nothing to stop you from challenging him in the air like that. There's nothing to stop you. It doesn't matter what button he comes down with. He might try and hit you with jump heavy. He might try and throw you. He might try and hit you with that. But if he's in the air, he's vulnerable. There's nothing to be afraid of. He's just a normal big character with big normals. You can challenge those once he's in the air. Go to air. Go and get an air throw from his attempts to get in the air like that. Throw him. Hit him with an air to air button. Hit him with an anti-air button. Like, just catch him out the air, because he's vulnerable once he's in the air like that. So, once you do start punishing all those bad neutral gamma charges on whiff, punishing them on block if he tries to charge away, and when you challenge the neutral assist consistently, Hulk becomes much more reserved, has to back off, and take less risks in general, in order to avoid getting hit. Or alternatively, if he wants to push an advantage after his drone's call's been used, he's going to have to take more risks and basically give you more opportunities to challenge or call an assist in a smart position. Maybe sometimes you get happy birthday for it, but you just got to play a Hulk a lot in order to learn the matchup and go into training mode a lot, basically. So what comes next is blocking. So in the corner, you have to block versus Hulk. There's no two ways about it. You have to block versus Hulk, and if you're in that corner, stand heavy is a nightmare. Anti-air gamma charge is a nightmare. So what you want to do, the very first thing, is learn how to deal with anti-air gamma charge. Because if stand heavy comes, it's no biggie. Stand heavy comes, push block, well, hey, he's all the way at full screen again. But if anti-air gamma charge comes like this, the bully mode activates. I don't know how to time it so that it's perfect, because my dummy just gets hit over and over. What happens is people try and push block it, and it's a bit random. They're just trying to push block every hit, basically. They try and push block it on the way up, and stuff like that happens. So you got to punish bad anti-air gamma charges, basically. Not punish them, but you got to push block them late. So don't push them on the way up. Don't push block them on the way down. Push block them after Hulk has landed. So, and you remember what I said about punishing them. So push block, and then he's whiffed it. If the Hulk is going to bully, you're going to get full combos for free by simply waiting. Don't panic against this character at all, basically, because if you push block once he's landed, any time after landing, basically, in fact, no, that didn't work because that was too late. But basically, once he's landed, once his feet touch the floor, that's when you push block, and you're out, and you can punish a follow-up. If he does it again, if the Hulk is trying to just consistently bully, it's your chance to shine now. What you might also do is try, and depending on the timing, if you notice that he's doing this when you fall to the ground, so I'm getting pretty bullied here, you can chicken guard it and throw it, and depending on the timing, so if I'm just up here like this, depending on the timing, I can throw it, or alternatively, if I see a correct moment here, like that, the timing was right, and I managed to get a combo on Hulk, a full combo. What you don't want to do is super, because again, Hulk can always use his own invulnerable super to get out of what you're doing. It's really difficult to say that super is a great idea versus him there. So basically, you want to have options to push block and then punish his next one. You want to be able to chicken block in certain cases, but he might just grab you, and if he grabs you, it's death. So just be careful with the chicken block option. The safest option is to to push block, and then try and stick some options out there that are going to get you out of pressure. So for example, if I know that Hulk's going to do this, and whatever he's going to do, he might not consistently do that. Once he notices you push blocking him, he might have another advance, and he might do gamma charge with drones to get back in, basically. But once he sees that you're doing that, you might be able to disrupt her, or you might be able to get a beam out there or something like that with an assist. You might just call your assist because you're scared of doing anything else, and if you that's fine. If you call on your assist and keeping Magneto safe, sorry I say Magneto, whatever your point character is safe, you're perfectly fine. You're out of the pressure just for a moment if your assist hits, and if it doesn't hit, if say if Hulk punishes your assist, your point character's still alive and you've taken a chance, yes, and maybe you'll get punished for it, your assist will die, but just don't get happy birthday in that situation is the rule. So some moves will get you out of pressure. So if you are in block stun, like that, some moves do have an option there to get you out of that pressure. Depending on what it is, you might be able to, like, say with Dormammu, if I can just get in the corner here, you know, if I push block like that into a teleport, I'm already creating space for myself. It might be that I do something else with, say, Dormammu, and I might just get a flame carpet down. Oh shit, that was a bad push block. See, even me, I do bad push blocks from time to time. Get something like that. If you Gamma charges in, I'm buggered though there. That's an awful idea, really. But you might do something as simple as, let's say he does these Gamma charges on me. You might do something as simple as that, and depending on what the escape is, what your character is, think about options that you have. Phoenix has teleports. You might be able to put Eye of Agamotto out there. Eye of Agamotto is super slow. It's probably not a good idea with anything, but you might be able to just super to safety, DHC to Sword, DHC to Sugemu, DHC to Astral Vision, DHC to just a safe super like Stalking Flare. Generally speaking, that tends to be safe, depending on spacing versus Hulk. It depends on the character. You just got to know what your options are. I'm sure if you've played a character for any length of time, you'll know what your safe DHCs are. Depending on what it is, just got to make sure that Hulk can't super through them. It has to be safe versus his invulnerable supers, basically. Some moves will get you out of pressure, of course, but then what also happens in pressure is you'll have drones coming down on top of you. Why do I keep pressing start before trying to reset there? So drones are going to be coming down on top of you, and you're going to be getting hit by things like crouch light into command grab, and at that point you've got to be really careful. So those drones are there, and command grab might come, and I'm just terrified to press buttons at that point. I might be trying to up back and get out of the pressure, and he might hit me low. You just got to be wary that you have to do things like, if I try and block this, I'm not sure if the timing's going to be right, but you have to do things like late push block into, say, so there, all I did was late push block, using a plink dash option select. So I'm just doing this motion, a plink dash back into a crouch like that to late push block as late as possible. I'm trying to stay out of stand block as much as possible. I'm trying to continue into crouch block because remember Hulk has that crouch L, so I'm trying to just very carefully do this. Basically my character's doing this. If I wasn't in block stun, I'm doing this. So in the corner that would probably look something like this, something along the lines of just doing that same input, using that to push block like this, and just basically doing this. The low has a lower chance of hitting me than if I just sat there, maybe tried to up back and try and get out of that. Because if I try and up back out of that setup, it would look something like this. So it's coming now. The drone's trying to hit me. I'm trying to up back. All right, my Hulk timing is terrible, but you see the point. I'd get hit low there, and then I'd be panicking and probably get command grabbed, and then the whole thing would continue, basically. So some moves will get you out of pressure, some techniques will get you out of pressure, but basically when that command grab comes, if Hulk has got drones there and he's trying to get in on you, when that command grab comes, you have to read it, because reacting to it is dangerous. If you don't have a read in place, if you don't think the command grab's already going to come and think, right, I think this Hulk player is going to command grab me right now, then you're basically asking to get whiff. You're going to see the command grab and you're going to let it whiff, and then you're going to try and press buttons afterwards, and that's when you get hit with stand heavy into Lariat, and that's no good, obviously. So you got to read that it's coming. So if it does come like that, let me do it again. So if I read that it's going to come, I've got to have some sort of read on it, and it might be that I do things that are sort of like evasive at the same time. So I sort of just tri-dashed over him, which isn't the best there, but if I super jump out and I think I'm going to super jump out, I can probably come back down on reaction to it. You just have to be prepared though. You already have to have a button in mind. If you're Virgil, your Helmbreaker's perfect for it. If you're Wolverine, dive kick is good. A lot of characters will have the ability to just tri-dash like that, or maybe with a bigger button like that. Or potentially you'll take that as your opportunity to escape. Whatever it is, you've got to get out of there, basically. Versus drones then, like the lockdown comes in, the crouch L comes into play. You might get trapped under them without getting hit, so you can get command grab. So if Hulk is sort of like in your face and the drones aren't, you might end up just getting command grabbed anyway. So the drones are sort of like there, but you're not. Underneath them even. Whatever it might be. That's not even going to look good, is it? Like there, if you just basically being whiffed on by the drones, then command grab's basically waiting for you there. But at the same time, that is your opportunity to try and fight back. If you understand that drones aren't going to touch you, maybe it is time to try and make Hulk double, like think again, basically, about what he's got to do. You might even be able to touch Sentinel with one of your normals, but in the corner, that's specifically going to be like the case where you're trying to maybe just touch Sentinel with one of your buttons. Mid-screen, Hulk's options aren't as potent. So mid-screen, basically, if you're crouched, Hulk can, generally speaking, on a lot of characters, generally speaking, he can not corpse hop because you're not on the ground, but he can dash over you. So if he does do something like this, and you're underneath it, you might end up getting cracked by, let's say, not like that. You might end up getting cracked by the crossover stuff. So if you're waiting there, you might get hit by, typically what Hulks might do is something like this. Oh no, it has to reverse the sides, doesn't it? So it might be something like that, where he dashes over you, and you get instantly hit by that, or it might be a dash over into command grab. So you've got to be aware that if you're crouching under drones, yes, maybe it is time to challenge, but also a good reason to do that is because he might want to try and like corpse hop over the top of you. If you are crouched with a lot of characters, like I don't think it works on Dormammu. I think it works on. Does it work on? It works on Dormammu, so it'll probably work on Doom, I'm guessing as well. Then. It'll work, yeah, it works on a lot of characters if you're crouched then, basically. So you just got to be aware of that, but what you're looking to do with the mid-screen options, if you're having to block, it's because maybe you've not spaced yourself outright, or maybe you've been unfortunate with your assist call getting beat, or just not beating all of Sentinel's drones assist. Now, I'm using Sentinel drones assist just because KBR's team is so effective and drones is so good for Hulk. You'll see it a lot. So you have to basically think about your spacing. If you end up in that one, maybe try and push block your way out. But remember, crouch light, command grabs, but then the corpse hop into whatever else it might be. Whatever else it might be, it might just simply be as simple as him. If I can actually get it. Why can't you get dash into command grab? It's really hard to do that. Hulk players are just a new level of skill. Do you have to have a forward input there? That's actually really tricky to do. Hulk players are actually weirdly. Hulk players seem really simple. Hulk not players, but Hulk combos seem really simple. But there's a lot of complexity to doing Hulk combos and doing Hulk neutral. It's actually really hard to do. So you can easily push block any Hulk pressure that Hulk tries, as long as he's not covered by the assist at that particular moment. And remember, once you have push blocked him, he's punishable on a lot of things. So I did talk about punishing gamma charges before. Wait, not that kind of gamma charge. Like something like the light one. So you can actually make him whiff, I think, sometimes. So if you push block the first one, I think in certain spacings, like that one whiffs, right? So similar sort of thing. So if he's getting in your face and you're push blocking him well enough, potentially you might end up seeing him gamma charge at a bad range, and then that leaves him vulnerable to that push block and then letting him whiff there. What you don't want to do is push block the one where and then he goes backwards there. So if you're at a space where if you push block that, you're definitely not punishing. I mean, you're safer at that point, but you might as well let them gamma charge into sort of suicide almost, if you're going to let them do that. Right, so the final main section for Hulk here is Hulk's welcome mix-ups. Now, Hulk's welcome mix-ups are probably the single greatest thing about him, basically. If you're dealing with a Hulk player, they do not need, let me turn life recovery off, they do not really need to play a game with a saving X factor. They can basically X factor crazy confirms versus you, because specifically they know that X factor is a resource to gain momentum. It's a momentum based team rather than a comeback factor. Hagar in X Factor 3 does not become Dark Hagar. He just becomes plain old Hagar with a pipe, and he's not exactly helm breaking you into a non-existence. You can get comeback, you can have a comeback beat you by any three of these characters. Hulk's probably the hardest to get a comeback with, but specifically speaking, this is not a team that wastes its X Factor needlessly. It actually uses the X Factor really well. So it uses it for conversion. So say Hulk's used is Hagar assist, and then he jumps and gets a throw on you. He can then convert his Gamma Wave into a full combo and then gets the kill. And the next character comes in to this mix-up left-right. Potentially mid-screen, you get some slightly different variations that I'll show in just a sec, but the whole gist of it is that you're going to be getting hit by something like that into a mix-up that might look something like that, except you'll get hit by it. So that mix-up, let's try that one more time. Let's get a recording going. So the mix-up might be something like that. It might be front hitting. It might be basically so ambiguous that you really can't tell what side it's going to hit. Like that. So that's 2 mix-ups in a row. Let me just see which way those hit. So the first one I think hit front side, definitely. So I'll block that front. In fact, I'll let me block it cross up. That one's definitely definitely hitting front side. And this time I'll block front side, and I think this one's going to cross up. It did not cross up. It's actually quite hard to cross up by the looks of things. Let me try that again with Hulk one more time. So how deep do we have to go? How late do we have to go to get this cross up? That one looked like it hit front again before this, but this is the gist basically. It's ambiguous, really ambiguous. This one hits. That one hits front. So Hulk players got discipline clearly, because the mix-up, it's actually quite hard to get it to cross over. I think it's about the timing completely of your jump, basically. That one looked a bit better. Let's see how that works. Right, I'm going to hold back. Will this cross up? That one crossed up, and it's really hard to tell the difference between it. And this mix-up, if I look at this now, I've got my character coming in. What can I do about this? Because if I try and go like down back really quickly, I might get hit by Lariat on the way down, depending on my air dash speed and the size of my character. If I try and go up back, I can be thrown straight there and get converted into a full combo. If I try and throw, if a mash throw on the way in, whiffs over the top of Hulk's head. It depends on what the spacing is for this, so it depends on what the spacing is. I think I've just messed that up. I need to get the full sequence like that, don't I? Yeah, so it depends on what the spacing is. But generally speaking, this mix-up, there are a few ways out of it. So the whole idea is you're getting hit from below and he's going above you with this left-right, and the clap can hit you if you try and go upwards. The thing is, if you mash throw, you might get clapped, or it might whiff over his head and you might get hit by Hagar, or you might tech the throw depending on the time that the Hulk player uses, basically. So for this, you might try and escape in a couple of different ways, and it might be the air dash with a plink. So you might plink up like that, something like that, and you might get a throw from it. It depends on the mix. So let me re-record this. So like that, and try and sort of like change this timing a bit. Like that. Okay, so let's try this timing now. I think this is going to cross up again. I'll just test the cross up one more time. That actually hit front side, so it's so late though, it looks so deep. So now I'm going to try and air dash up and press jump heavy. And I got thrown out of it this time because the timing was different on Hulk, and this is the difficulty of it. Hulk players have complete authority over whether some of your escapes are going to work here. So if you're in the corner coming in and you try and air dash and throw upwards like that into a flight, that's a really good option. It'll only work some of the time, and potentially Hulk can just instead super jump up like that, avoid your throw and clap you instead, or they can simply just jump heavy at normal jump height and clap you that way. Basically, it's a game where you start to take counter action against their mix-up, and they start to take counter action against your counter action. So that's one way to escape. However, there's a few different ways for this. So that's one way. I can air dash up forward as well and get thrown. So that was too early on my throwing port, but sometimes Hulk's way above your head by that point. That time I threw him because I was air dashing up forward. If I try a different timing on the Hulk mix-up, get the kill. Like that, something that might be better as a cross-up. I'm going to air dash up forward and try and throw this time. And I'm out, basically. You can also try air dashing forward. It depends on what you have. Basically, it covers you above and below this mix-up, and if you're trying to escape, it's really difficult. So Dormammu has such a big vertical hitbox, even when he's in the air. If he air dashes forward, look at how big he is. He's massive. If you compare that to like Magneto, he's a little bit tidier, a little bit smaller. So you're trying to escape. It depends on what tools you have. So the more you have, the better. Air dashes are great. I'm going to try and air dash forward with Magneto this time. I think if you air dash without pressing a button, you get out, basically, depending on what it is. That time I just got hit. So it depends on the timing, but again, Hulk might counter your counter to the welcome mix-up and just completely roll their face over you. You've no chance. So basically, if you have a double jump, it's a really extremely good option. I don't have a character with double jump on my team, but if you're holding back and just wiggle to up back like that, the moment you come in, you'll up back. And the problem is, Hulk will instantly throw you if you up back like that. So what you might want to do with a character like Strider, for example, let me just put Strider on the team real quick. Let's go like that. We'll change Phoenix for Strider. Let's put Strider on the team for a sec. With double jump characters, you might be looking to double jump into a throw tech and then option select a movement option that gets you out of the corner. So for example, Dante might double jump into jump heavy and then do an air play, and then maybe consider some of his other options. But if I'm getting hit here... He just died, damn it. So I might do something like... try that again then, let that hit. Double jump into jump heavy, like that. And what I am doing, what I want to do basically, if it stops playing back, is jump heavy into I can't remember what the name of that move is, but basically like that. So you do a throw tech into the corner escape option. Now Hulk within his rights might just snap you in and hit you with something as simple as like that, and when you try and do that tech, you're just going to get clapped because you're too close to throw now. Alright, the timing was off on the recording, but you see my point, basically. So you have to be ready, basically, to take the throw, or depending on the character, option select that throw into a cancelled option, like Strider, for example, there. But the point is, when you do these types of escapes and learn how to escape some of these setups and keep experimenting with what works with your characters, the Hulk player then has to adjust and try and combat what you've done to escape. So when that happens, you're no longer in the 50-50. You now have some other times where you're going to be mixed up and it's going to be to try and catch your escape. And if that's the case, well then you can just fall in and block, because you know it's going to be front side, and then push block Hulk when he comes down, try to stop his next advance, and maybe punish him for trying to be too offensive for that. So that's the gist, basically. So you've got to try and mix up your incoming for it, because basically that's going to prevent Hulk from having the same 50-50 option each time. Air dashes again are good, but you must be using them carefully and sparingly, because the opponent's going to be able to read them and punish those accordingly for that. But there's basically options, but what you want to do, if you have an air dash into flight character, you want that throw option select before you go into your flight. So you want to throw option select that air dash with a plink into heavy, and then fly cancel that heavy, so you can throw, flight, and then you can escape, basically, is the gist. Teleports are possible. It's high risk, but you know, if you've got a teleport that works in the air, you could teleport out of there. Obviously Strider doesn't, but if you had it, you could teleport out of there. But it depends on where your teleport leaves you. Most teleports track, Wesker's doesn't, so Wesker's might be one of the few options that's actually possible here. But it depends on your characters. Like, for example, Strange or Phoenix, they could air dash up and then maybe teleport behind Hulk, but then they teleport relative to where Hulk is. So if Hulk's there and Hagar's there, they're going to teleport straight into Hagar and get bodied, basically. So it's high risk, but again, you got to try your options and see what works for you, and see what works versus the players you're playing. Some Hulk players will not let you get away with anything. The mixers will be too tight. Some players that you're playing that might be giving you trouble, they might not be KBR level players. So try what you can find, and if it is successful against them, just understand that as you get better as a player, you might want to remove that gradually from your game and replace it with some more efficient options with slightly lower risk, higher reward, or higher chance of escaping. Last option basically versus this is air invulnerable options. So for example, your supers like Sentinel's hard drive, Phoenix Inferno from Phoenix, and Morrigan's level 3, I can't remember what it was called, level 3, but those options are pretty good. Naturally, Phoenix doesn't want to spend bar, but it's an option, and you might end up doing it, and then X Factor in to get out, because Hulk, I think, can sail over the top of that super pretty handily and then catch Phoenix on the way down. Morrigan needs 3 bars for hers, and she's not often last on the team with 3 bars because people want to kill her rather than snapping her to the back that often. It's definitely a really good option for her. You see basically any top Morrigan coming in versus a good welcome mix-up will try and hit that level 3 as they come in. Sentinel, last character, has the best time with it because naturally he comes in and he can do the double jump tech and he can then do the super. Only problem with Sentinel's version is if the Hulk's ready for this, if they predict that coming, there's a good chance that they might be able to just jump into the hard drive and then push block, and then you can throw it as a punish on the way back down, basically. So the Hulk player can potentially punish it. If it goes over the head, they won't be able to punish it because Hulk's not that fast. He may be able to get a gamma wave into a DHC and then punish with an X Factor like that, but it's situational. And that's the gist, basically. So, to sum up all of this tech then, the tech itself is wonderful. Round start tech, plink dash option select, understanding that your neutral game is going to be a game of like push and pull. You're going to have to like go with the ebb and flow of like assist call and usage and things like that, and then make sure it's your turn to go in, or even steal turns from Hulk because you know that your beam is about to beat their next assist call. It's your turn still, so make use of that. So the tech is wonderful, but it's only really useful if you game plan around the team. So Hulk is a very healthy boy. I talked about how you might be tempted to reset him. And what I'd say instead, basically, is to look at their team and look at who is the lowest health character. You've got Sentinel. You've got Sentinel there, who's obviously the lowest health on this team. Hulk and Hagar are up here. Sentinel's down here. He's at an achievable level of health to kill from nearly most teams. If your team can't kill Sentinel after doing a combo into a snap and then getting a hit on Sentinel, you really need to sort your team out. It's probably not viable in a competitive sense if you're looking to get better at the game. Because you should have like 1 bar left, and then you get a hit on Sentinel. And you should be able to then kill on a hit on Sentinel when he comes in. And it might not be Sentinel, it might be Rocket Raccoon, it might be Strange, it might be Doom, it might be Dante, whatever the main neutral assist for the Hulk player is, and it can be varied. I've seen Schumer, I've seen Strider for Hulk. Snap that character, because once the neutral assist is gone, once there's none of this, what is Hulk doing in neutral? If Hulk tries that with Hagar's all the way back there. If he tries to do stuff like this and jump over and give Hagar assist there, well then, Hulk is strongest there is, damn right. But if he's nowhere near you, and neither is Hagar, you have nothing to fear. So if you killed the main neutral assist, how does Hulk actually press you in neutral? And if that's the case, you are the one who determines which way you're moving, left or right, running away. You can go in and out. You can make sure your mix-ups come at the right time. You can dash in behind a plasma beam or whatever else it is and hit them with double overhead into low, so on and so forth. And basically you're dictating how the flow of the game goes at that point. So kill that second character or that third character who is the most vital to the neutral game plan, because Hulk needs that neutral assist. He needs that help for it, basically. So what it means is, you could TAC Infinite Hulk, but if you drop it or they break it, you've now got to get another hit on Hulk with his neutral assist. So have a good snap setup in the chamber for it. So you've got to practice this. If it is Sentinel, that's a real difficult prospect because Sentinel is really hard to mix up. You've got to hit him meaty before he can hard drive, and you have about, I think, 4 frames to do that before he can actually hard drive. All characters fall in and have to block for a certain amount of time before they're actually able to take action. So you can meaty Sentinel, and your ideal situation would be to get him like to fall down to the ground. Like, you want him to fall down to the ground because he can no longer hard drive, and you can instant overhead him basically at that point. You can instant overhead him and mess his day up basically. Like you can really put him into mixers, because again, it's the same thing as Hulk being big. You can throw him, you can hit him low, and you can instant overhead him. And if you instant overhead him, it's going to really make him think. So it's tricky basically to pin Sentinel down. You got to think of some good mix-ups to do it with. My team has a good mix-up. I'll show you in the footage you're about to watch in just a sec of me versus Shuffle, and I think I've got RayRay versus KBR to just quickly analyze as well. But basically, snap the main assist character, even if you don't even hit Sentinel. You now have them playing Sentinel with Gamma Wave potentially, or Gamma Charge Assist, plus Hagar. And that is still Whackbot +2, and not a good 2 to have him +2. So he's going to have to find a way to get his character back in. And you can out-neutral Sentinel. You just have to be careful. In the same way that you got to be careful about Hagar's options, you got to be careful about Sentinel's options in a certain way, because he will frying pan you, or he will armor through certain things if you're not careful. So you got to kill that main assist, kill that main support character. It's part of fighting the team effectively, because otherwise you're just giving Hulk tons of bar by doing a big long combo on him, dropping it at the end, or spending your bars and not killing him. There is no point in spending your bars and not killing Hulk, essentially. That's the gist. So I suppose the final thing to mention then is, yeah, don't give up space. Don't let rounds start be dominated by Hulk. Fight back. Find ways to fight back. Use the advice I've given you in this video. Find character-specific stuff that you have. Just do not find yourself jumping straight back into the corner and putting yourself into corner pressure. And once you do get into that corner pressure, make sure that you're push blocking safely, punishing effectively, because when you punish Hulk, he really has to stop doing risky offensive maneuvers. He really has to stop, and once you stop doing those risky offensive maneuvers, your neutral becomes a game of, well, now we can both play a smart game. We can both play a game where we're fighting on neutral terms, rather than Hulk just being like, oh, I'm in, let's go, and then getting full combos off of massive half-screen armor moves. So you've really got to be pushing that advantage in neutral and not letting you yourself be pushed to the corner. Push back. Know that Hulk can't hit you when he's covered by an assist like that, and when he's coming out of the assist. So if I just put him into blocks like that, that's the gist. And I suppose the final thing, I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but one last thing to remember. I said Hulk is vulnerable in the air when he goes up there. Naturally he is. So even if he's got like Hulk behind him, drones behind him, you can just grab him, you can anti-air him, or you can air-to-air him. He's vulnerable in the air, but so are you. So if Hulk is on the ground and you decide to jump in with whatever character you have, you dash over and jump in, but maybe you're very used to dashing over and jumping in. That is really risky, because Hulk, if he's on the ground, is very scary because of stand H, because of gamma charges, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to be jumping and you're going to be blocking, and you're not going to be pressing any buttons because you don't want to get hit by Hulk's options. You don't want to get hit by that. So what will happen is you'll dash and jump, and Hulk will do that into a full combo and you're dead. So last final thing, you should be more ground-based versus Hulk, unless you are up at super jump height and out of his range, basically, avoiding everything up above. But very few characters can successfully do that and come down safely without advanced movement. Okay then, so that is the gist of my guide, essentially. And now I'm going to watch 2 matches. I've got myself versus Shuffle up first. Okay, so first up, we've got me versus Shuffle in TNS UK, or TNS Europe. This was last April, May, sometime around there. So it's been about a year since this. So me and Shuffle have played a ton of matches against each other, training partners for a long time. Me, him, and Demon Phoenix. So we've got a lot of experience versus Shuffle as a player, but also against the Hulk matchup. So you see certain things in this matchup here where it's about familiarity. In fact, when we get this started here, watch what happens at this round start. Hulk does absolutely nothing. Shuffle knows the way I fight, and he doesn't want to start his tournament by getting hit, basically, on a Hulk mix-up, because that sets the tone, doesn't it? The Hulk 99 getting beaten right at the start makes the whole tone of the match, doesn't it? Like after that, it's like, well, what do I do? He's going to beat arm around start options. But look what he does do. He calls drones. I draw claw away. He calls drones again, and then that spacing was unsafe. So he has to spend a bar to keep himself safe, because he knows that I will beat him and punish him for that move. From there, because he spent a bar, his neutral options are now more limited, and his kill options are now more limited as well. He calls drones, I call Dark Hole and counter them. He calls drones again, and I call Rising Fang, and it beats drones this time. Sometimes he might stand heavy there, but I was with Wolverine close up, wasn't I? So I'm basically countering assists as we go. So now watch this. Hulk ends up in Dark Hole, and Lariat's right above me. Hulk could do a stand heavy and throw me. I don't really mind that. It's a stare down, and he's not pressed a button yet, and I think, okay, I'll do some crouch lights. Because specifically, what am I going to lose to here, and how much damage could he do from it? It's really not that big of an option, so I can challenge there. He realises that his position there for the drones and the anti-air gamma charge weren't so good, so he charges up. And now he's just back to zone a little bit. I jumped over him, that was risky for this. and I'm jumping over those drones to not give up the space freely. I'm trying to mix up my options. Sometimes I'll jump into them, sometimes I'll crouch under them, sometimes I'll jump over them, and I'll use Berserker Drill Claw to drill away from him, or drill into him sometimes, because the Drill Claw recovers so quickly. So that Drill Claw away there. If you Drill Claw into a stand heavy with Hulk, you'll just bounce off him and you're able to block, and sometimes it'll just whiff, and you can just punish. So here I go into Berserker Charge, and I'm getting hit, and unfortunately the range was just wrong. And I see him, I see that he jumped, he's vulnerable, and I can grab him, except look at my meter build here, and look at his amount of health. So I just think, let me build some meter, and I will mix up Sentinel instead. So I snapped a mid-screen, and the reason I snapped a mid-screen is twofold. One, if he was to hard drive, he would hard drive into the corner instead of into the opposite corner, so I could punish very easily. But two, with Iron Fist, I have a mix-up where, I mentioned before, Sentinel and every character, they cannot act for a certain amount of time after they fall onto the screen. If they try to act, nothing happens. You can't X Factor, but you have to block if something puts you in block stun, because if you don't, you'll get hit. So he has to block the first hit here, and luckily for me, there's only one hit of Iron Fist. And it hits left or right, and this time I did a mix-up, which hit, I think front side here, it doesn't cross up. That's why he gets bounced to the right. And he gets out, because I didn't follow up with a mix-up. I was sort of like followed up just seeing what would happen first of all. And he DHC's out, and he's in a bad meter position. So that meter that he spent at the start of the game, keeping himself safe, has now stopped him from having really anything risky for me to deal with at this point. He's had to DHC himself back in. And from there, I've managed to get a combo, because those rocks are not safe if you could get through to the other side of them. They do have a slow start-up, so that's super jump all the way through into a Drill Claw right there. Now here, I make a huge mistake. The spacing on this was completely wrong, and I made a huge mistake. Look at that, and now I'm happy birthdayed. Versus Hulk, versus any team basically, but versus Hulk in particular, because of how much of a snowball effect there is with Hulk, especially if you use his X Factor to murder your characters, you can die for the mere sin of dropping one combo. I got happy birthdayed, and it was basically, it should be the end of this game. However, I do a little bit of light zoning on Hulk here, because his hitbox is so big. With Dormammu, you can use some dark holes, and I should have probably got punished here, but I managed to teleport and actually grab Hulk, that's just straight luck for me, because normally Hulk, Shuffle would punish that with a grab, and I think he did try to grab, but maybe he was just too far when he started the grab. So now Hulk's dead, and that's the rest of the game there, and I think I managed to do it. Yeah, so Hagar's really vulnerable to zoning. Depending on what the Hulk team is, they might not be as vulnerable to zoning, but they might be vulnerable to rush down, they might be vulnerable to other forms of play. So you've really got to play well versus the whole team. But Hagar gets zoned, so I zoned him. Start of the next round, he goes to character select just to sort of like reset the momentum here. He doesn't want me feeling myself. He doesn't want me basically being able to go in here and just keep my momentum up. So round start, I went to jab him. He actually did a jump heavy, which is really unusual. So it's a matter of, he knows how I play, and he's trying to do different things right now in tournament. But that's not really about the Hulk matchup so much. But once you start doing these different options to Hulk players, they have to really think about it, especially when they're under pressure. You obviously are having an effect on them. You're not letting them use their game plan. Now here in this situation, I dropped a combo that I shouldn't have dropped, and I got a lucky reset into Iron Fist, and now I have enough damage to kill Hulk. And that's the game over. And now I've got a mix-up Sentinel on this team. I'll just show the mix-up. I don't even think it was a mix-up, probably just some basic... Yeah, I did a jump light over the top of him to try and get him to hard drive underneath me and waste a bar. And maybe go for the escape. Ooh, and then X-Factor, all the rest of it. But it's just generally just fighting the team here. You can check this out. It was a fantastic tournament. If you want to watch a bit of footage back, this TNS Europe was absolutely fantastic. Really good matches in here. Real nail biters. And it comes down to the team versus Hagar. What's Hagar going to do? What would Hulk do with just Hagar assist? Not as much as he would do with Sentinel. So here, final game, because I win this 3-0, or spoilers. You see here, I jump, he can't throw me now, and he knows that he can't throw me now, because if he tries to stand heavy, I'm going to throw him. But this is the mind game right now, because he knows that he knows that he can't throw, but I know that he knows that I know that he can't throw. So what does he do? Well, I land, and I do stand L, which is 4 frames, and he does anti-air gamma charge. So, he knows that I can throw him, so he goes anti-air gamma charge, and I know that he can't throw me, and I know that he might use anti-air gamma charge, so I stand L and hit him with a full B&B right at the start of the game, with both my assists. But look at the damage, look at the meter. I'm not going to kill. So I'll snap Sentinel. Same mix-up. I think this time it hits. I feel like I went front side again. I can't tell. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'll be able to tell you when I did it, but not now. So I use a really safe combo here on Sentinel, DHC to Stalking Flare. And now it's Hulk falling in, and he has to eat whatever mix-up I choose. So I'm going to dash back a little bit so he can't armor through, and I really went light on the mix-up. I just wanted to stay safe, basically. And I knew him landing there, so Hulk was going to land there. I've hard-tagged in my character. He could gamma charge through here, but I see he hasn't gamma charged. So my meteors are coming out, and I see that he hasn't gamma charged. He hasn't done anything, so let me just hit a couple of quick jump lights. And he actually did do a stand heavy there, and the dark hole and my jump light, I think it was the second jump light, met his stand heavy, which would have obviously bodied my character, and now his character's dead. That's the gist. That's all you got to do versus Hulk. Just keep making sure that you're not letting armor be a threat to you. Keep making sure that the spacing's right, and keep making sure that you're removing his support in the form of the assists, basically, that he has. That's all you got to do. It's not that complicated. Perfect. It's not that complicated. You just got to work on it. Next up, we have our man RayRay versus KBR. Two of the best in the biz. Two of the best players to have ever played the game. RayRay with his Evo Grand Finals, KBR with his Grand Finals wins. 2 Grand Finals, I think KBR made it to. So, right at the very start here, ignore that hit just for a second. Right at the very start here, RayRay, what does he do? I think he jumps forward, and then he jumps forward again, and now he's not completely in the corner, and he does a dash black mag... a dash black mag blast? You could say that. Dash back mag blast, and tries to call Hulk, and I think... called Doom, and I think Doom is too late, basically. Doom gets stopped by drones, and because he tries to escape here, KBR's ready and hits him with jump clap. I'm going to come to this. There's a theme that you'll see in a little bit in this match, or just in general with Magneto. You will want to fight for space, because if you do end up in the corner, you have to escape, and when you try to escape, Hulk has an opportunity to hit you. Same with Hagar. So he gets hit here and he gets taken down. I'll just fast forward. He gets bounced to the mid-screen. I didn't show this mix-up in the tutorial before, but it's similar principle, 50-50, and you have to tech a throw if you block, or if you try and escape, sorry. You have to block, and you put into a mix-up. It might actually be more dangerous than the corner version, because left, right, mid-screen, there's no protection from the wall, where they have to wait for you to fall in. Similar situation here. I don't think he has enough frame advantage to get over in time to call Hagar and do the same thing, or maybe it's just because it's Sentinel that he doesn't want to do the same mix-up. Probably more that. Luckily for him here, KBR was doing a stand medium, and he managed to catch him and get a happy birthday. Just unlucky for RayRay that he didn't catch Sentinel at the same time. So now Hulk's dead, and it's about fighting the team, and I think KBR wins this one with Hagar, with X Factor. Yeah. So round start, next game. He jumped forward twice last game. This time he jumps back once, jumps forward. And now he's got more mid-screen real estate, calls Doombeam, beats Sentinel, and now he can call his own assist, drones, to try and work a mix-up mid-screen. And you see there again, the mid-screen mix-up doesn't work because KBR jumps into drones, much like you might do, versus Hagar. Versus Sentinel drones with Hulk approaching you. But he wakes up and then stand medium into the gamma charge, and you see that anti-air gamma charge as well to keep himself back there in a mid-screen position. Now, you saw that the KBR was punishing the assist call there. Sentinel got hit in the background, but then likewise Magneto hits the KBR Sentinel. So this is the fight, the juxtaposing here of back and forth, trying to hit Hulk and stay safe at the same time, keep that screen position, and defeat him. Now Hulk's dead, and hopefully you're going to beat these two characters with your full team. X Factor's there though. X Factor, anything can happen. We'll just skip forward. I think Ray does win this one with Sentinel, if I'm thinking correctly. Yeah, he gets the kill, and then next game. Right, so next game is 1-1. And now we went backwards, forwards, and he's jumping left twice again, basically, over the head Hulk. And he's just not having any of it, but he's still maintaining good spacing and not getting himself trapped in the corner there. You saw him jump up there and do a jump mag blast instead of like a plink dash one, just to catch Hulk air to air. It's a really good option for Magneto to use. But again, depending on your spacing, you might get clapped before that comes out. And here, right now, we see We reset to neutral. No assists been called. KBR beats beats Magneto's assist. Sentinel gets smacked, and then his drones are coming, and he runs over and he gets... There we go. He gets a jump over the disruptor, and that means that he's got a bit more frame advantage because RayRay's in recovery, and he wants to call drones now, basically, when that assist is... when that disruptor is recovering. And he goes hoping that RayRay would see the drones come in and jump to fly away. He goes in and tries to jump heavy, but as I've said before, if a Hulk jumps, they're vulnerable, and you can just beat them out of whatever they've done in the air, basically. Hitboxes notwithstanding. So he gets the throw, and he's got enough damage. He's going to kill Hulk here, do the damage. Hulk's done, and now it's Sentinel versus Sentinel Hagar. What's Sentinel Hagar got other than supers and a bit of armor and a bit of oh, got hard drive. There we go. There's a super. Can't X-Factor there, but he tried it anyway. Oh, and gets out. Nice. Lucky. Other than, he's got ground mobility, but Sentinel is a little bit stiff in the air, isn't he, at the same time? So it's tricky for a Sentinel and Hagar to beat a team like Magneto Doomstem. And last game, jumps back, jumps forward, blocks again. He's just blocking. He's trying to get away. It was a little bit risky because you saw him get a throw or an air dash. That was meant to be an air dash, I think. You saw it. In fact, you saw him get hit in the air, or he blocks in the air, lands, and I think that was meant to be his air dash input upwards, basically. And a heavy come out because he was too low to the ground. And now we're back to neutral, and he's doing a lot of movement back and forth. You see how quickly Ray plinks backwards and forwards. And just here, you see, he goes over the projectiles, and he's just putting his projectiles in the way of Hulk so that you can't just get 3 drones out. So 2 of them got stopped there. There weren't 3. But there he sees, he gets hit. So he gets a hit on Doom with Plasma Beam right here. He calls it there, and he's in the air still when he gets hit. And now Ray wants to do an air dash mag blast, and it's that stand medium that beats him. The mag blast didn't come out. He got a jump medium or something with Magneto. But the stand medium 3-frame armor is so good as an anti-air, so good to get your armor out. Even if the blast had come out, I don't think it would have won based on the timing there. I think Ray was just a little bit too eager to get that blast on top of him. And then there, KBR's very unlucky that he doesn't get the birthday here. He X-Factors and he goes for an anti-air command grab. And Ray smartly stays on the ground. He sees that the assist is in cooldown for KBR. If he got ground command grabbed there, I'm not sure that KBR could have converted because he didn't have a bar at that moment, did he? Oh no, he spent it there. Yeah, so he did have a bar here. So maybe a fully mashed command grab into super might have nearly killed Magneto. It's X-Factor 1 though, but it's a lot of damage on Hulk, isn't it? So now it's back to neutral, and he's trying to keep Hulk away. Problem is, Hulk's got his own projectiles here. So what you see here is he gets happy birthdayed here. The disruptor gets eaten because that's a heavy one. That's got 20 durability versus disruptors, I want to say 12 durability. 3 hits of 4 times durability apiece, I think, maybe. Or maybe 9 durability. I think it's 12. And from there, you see that KBR has got drones coming, and he's going to instantly try and carry on comboing Dr. Doom. So Magneto is already taken to the air. The second that Ray wakes up from that, getting happy birthday there, he says, no, I'm not letting you continue super happy birthday in my characters. I'm not going to get up and try to disrupt her again. I'm going to super jump out. I'm going to air dash forward and mag blast you. Now, that's good to protect your assist, but if you play a long enough set, you would see KBR most definitely in this situation leaving that assist where it is on the ground, dashing forward here and jump heavy to counter that, or maybe an anti-air gamma charge, or maybe just a gamma charge, because he will be able to beat that option from Magneto. But that's the gist. This is the game you got to play. You got to show your hand, your option, and then from there, that will mean that Hulk won't always be punishing your assist. Now, this is what I was talking about before. Magneto is pushed to the corner here. That's quite a high mag dash black, and he goes through it with armor, and drones are coming behind it. RayRay sniffs the trouble, and he escapes. But what if he got super jump clapped about now, basically, which I don't think Hulk could do. He tried to, but what if the timing had been slightly different? You don't always have perfect judgment of the timing yourself, no matter who you are. The more times that you let this game of, like, you know, controlling the space go in Hulk's favour and pushing you to the corner, the more times you then have to jump up and out and over Hulk to get out of the corner. Every time you try that, that's one more chance for Hulk to super jump up and clap you and meet you in the air and punish you for that. So what might you do in response to that? You might then, if you've got an air dash back down. So you're going to fake it out. You're going to super jump up, dash down, maybe super jump up, fly, dash down, and then you're going to go under Hulk, and you'll dash under Hulk. But then Hulk, what if he doesn't jump? Then you just dash him down onto Hulk, and you might get punished. You might get grabbed. You might get command grabbed. You might run into an assist. You might run into Lariat or drones. This is the issue with it. The more times that you get backed up into a corner, the more times you have to escape to the other side. So you've really got to fight for every inch of that screen, basically. The more you give up to him, the more times you're going to find yourself in the one place that Hulk goes from C-tier character to A or maybe S-tier pressure character. That's the only strength he has. The fact that he can pressure you, put you in a risky situation because of his armor, and then finally kill your character, kill the next one, and kill the next one very easily, because he's very, very meter positive. With X Factor indeed as well, he will just murder your whole team. So you're going to be really careful about that. In fact, RayRay probably could win this whole matchup with just Magneto Plasma. Tries to super out there to keep himself safe. Now he did chicken block that, but didn't decide to punish. He wanted to stay completely safe. He could have tried a plink dash to be the safer punish, and then he unfortunately missed the punish on Sentinel as well. I think this doesn't catch Sentinel. Nope. So here, Sentinel, where are we here? Sentinel's bleeding in the back. We got him back out. And now Hagar's come in as like a sponge, basically. But RayRay says, well, you bring in your sponge. I will hit your sponge, kill it with X Factor. Let's just do the damage. And I'm going to get Hulk back in next, because Hulk can't block mix-ups. It's really hard. Hulk has to hold this. He's going to get hit high, low. What's he going to be? Left, right? It's left, right. Drones are coming, and whatever he knows, whatever he does as Hulk to beat Magneto, unless it's a throw, he can't win here. And it's not going to be a throw, because specifically Magneto stays on the ground because RayRay's smart. He could have done a crouch light there instead of a stand light, but he went for stand light. Left, right, easy. And now it's just finally the last piece of the team, and it's 3 characters versus Sentinel. I think KBR fights valiantly. In fact, KBR does fight valiantly. Look at this. He's still going, still going, still going. This is winners finals, and 13 seconds left, and he takes it, you know, nearly all the way in terms of like the time left on that match, and that's the kind of fighting spirit that you need. So that is the gist of this match. If you're trying to fight Hulk, it's about spacing, and it's about punishing the things which Hulk does, which look really scary, but in fact are quite punishable, because the more you punish those, the more space he has to give up, the more times he has to try and keep himself safe, the more bar he has to spend, the more times he has to spend X Factor, and the more times he does that over the course of a set, you're going to gain more confidence, more ability to recognize the situations where you're able to press your advantage, or understand exactly how much disadvantage you're in, and when to try and escape, when to try and pressure against it, when to snap, so on and so forth. So basically, just remember finally, against a team like KBR or a team with a Hulk on it, because there's a lot of health and you really need your combos to kill. If you're Zero, fantastic, but if you're a lot of other characters, snap in their support character, their main support character. But what you absolutely must not do in Marvel ever is give up wins. So you shouldn't be giving up games through your big combo drop. So make sure you've got your combos ready to go, because Lariat's going to be there ready to hit you if you drop him. Don't take drops, don't take risks that are way too big versus Hulk. And basically, the only way you should be losing to Hulk is if you have had the game taken from you through 50-50s, through clever play, through really being outsmarted. The game should be taken from you rather than you giving it up to Hulk, basically. So, that's about it, essentially. Remember to kill or snap. Remember to leave me a comment down below if you enjoyed this content, if you enjoy these types of matchup breakdowns, if you like a bit of information as to some character specific stuff as well. Feel free to ask me to do a little video or a long video. When I get time, I'll do these types of things. If you enjoyed this content, leave me a like, drop me a comment below what you'd like to see in future, and if you've not already, please hit that subscribe button. It's very helpful for the YouTube algorithm as always. I've been Sparty. I've also been very warm in this room, so yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks guys, cheers for that, and I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks very much.